What's going on, guys? What's going on? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Just going to do a quick reaction, to former Vice President Pence. Reaction to this new radicalization of trying to eradicate free speech. Talking about Elon Musk and on this fight for freedom of speech. We all know that he's bought Twitter. A lot of people think it was a bad move, financial move. A lot of people think it was a good move because he controls it now. We see lately he's allowed Kanye West to come back. He's allowed Donald Trump to come back, which I think is a good thing. I think freedom of speech is very, very important. Freedom of speech is what makes people who we are. It promotes independent thought. It promotes creativity, imagination. It promotes innovation. And when you take away that, I mean, you're going against everything what America's, said that they stand for. So I'm definitely for freedom of speech. Only time I'm against freedom of speech is when it's racism, bigotry, slandering, lies. That's all that should be stopped. That's anti whatever. That's anti white, black, Semitic, whatever. When you slander and racism and bigotry, when you talk about things like that, or when you promote hate, against a race as far as eradication or things like that. Let's get into it, guys. Let's see what Pence has to say about freedom of speech, what the Democrats are trying to eradicate freedom of speech.
We begin with Elon Musk going up against some of the most powerful forces in the country. He is now taking on the Democrat establishment, its media enforcers, and Silicon Valley in his fight for free speech. So the White House is now warning that it's keeping a, quote, close eye on Twitter. Watch.
Real quick, I just want to stop right here. And so the White House is keeping an eye on Twitter, which is owned by Elon Musk. So pretty much they saying, we're watching Elon, we're watching Musk because you're allowing people to come back who we don't agree with. You allow Trump to come back, and we totally hate him. We hate him because he's the most free speaking person in the world, because sometimes he doesn't know what to say out of his mouth. So we're watching you. I mean, is this democracy, guys? Is this what America has come to? Is this what the world has come to? Like, to the point where you have to watch a company because they're allowing people to speak because you don't want them to expose you? Like, really? Let's continue. See what the Speaker of the House, not the Speaker of the House, but the White House Speaker has to say right now.
Are you concerned? Elon Musk says there's more and more subscribers coming online. Are you concerned about that? And what tools do you have? Who is it at the White House that is really keeping track of this?
So look, this is something that we're certainly keeping an eye on. Look, we have always been very clear. And that when it comes to social media platforms, it is their responsibility to make sure that when it comes to misinformation, when it comes to the hate that we're seeing, that they take action, that they continue to take action.
I'm going to stop right here real quick. I've noticed, even with this Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, even with this, the media are the powers that be. They always throw that word hate out there, but they don't never explain what the heck they're talking about. It's like if you just say hate, it's just a word that you can get people to jump, and then people will jump. It's like you don't have to have any proof. Just say hate, and then everyone's jumping, and it's like they're using this tactic with no validity to their statements or anything, just to try to control the masses. Like, I'm trying to, like, I don't think the press secretary is even understand what she's saying. It's like, of course, I know she's reading from a prompt or she's reading from a paper, but it's like that hate, like, we have to be careful, like, throwing words out there like that with no proof and just trying to control someone. Let's continue.
Again, we're all keeping a close eye on this.
Maybe that's because Musk says he will release Twitter free speech suppression files that include the platform censorship of the Hunter Biden laptop story. Tweeting, "The Twitter files on free speech suppression soon to be published on Twitter itself. The public deserves to know what really happened." Musk also says stakes are high for the country, tweeting, "This is a battle for the future of civilization. If free speech is lost, even in America, tyranny is all that lies ahead." Mr. Vice President.
So here we go. And we know that you got Fox News, CNN. We got all these different news stations who swing to the left and they swing to the right. But if we're going to talk about facts, facts is facts. Is Joe Biden and the Democrats fighting Elon Musk because he's going to release the Hunter Biden files of Hunter Biden illegal dealings with other countries? Does Biden not want that to get out? Is that the reason why he's, you're using words like hate, misinformation, and things like that, because you're going to get exposed? So we got to be real careful, guys. And, and this is why you can't trust, neither party, for real. Because at the end of the day, politics is a real tricky game. It's like, look how the Democrats are using and abusing their power to try to stop a social media platform from releasing information that's going to help the American people to make a better informed decision. At the end of the day, is this all about 2024, the election, that they don't want to get exposed because people are getting more turned off by the Democratic Party, what Joe Biden did? It's starting to get real sickening. Let's continue.
President, is Elon Musk right?
Well, I think Elon Musk is exactly right. The foundation of America is freedom, and the freedom of speech, a free and independent press is a bulwark of why this nation is extraordinary and exceptional. I just have to tell you, to see in the White House press room the suggestion that the President of the United States is keeping a close eye on any element of the media is deeply offensive to me. It's your job in the media to keep a close eye on elected officials. I lived in that world for 20 years as a congressman, as a governor, and as your vice president. But I do think, as you suggest, I think it may well be because Elon Musk, who I came to know very well during the 4 years of the Trump-Pence administration, I think it's because he is preparing to release information finally about the suppression of the Hunter Biden story, which, as I write about in my autobiography,
real quick, and here, I don't know too much about Vice President Pence. He was, during his time, he was kind of quiet guy. Don't know too much about him, like I said, but here I definitely agree with him here that the reason why the Democrats and the Biden administration is coming after Musk is because they're afraid. Point blank and simple. They're afraid that Elon is going to release something that they don't want to get out, that people are already aware of, about Joe Biden's son having illegal dealings across seas and making money across seas and having businesses across seas. So a lot of people are well aware of that, but this is just going to put the ice on the cake. And that's the reason why they using the word hate. Like, what does hate, and think about, what does hate have to do with Elon Musk putting out files on Hunter Biden illegal dealings or whatever he's into that's illegal? What does that have to do with hate? So like I said, we have to watch these people, guys, because we live in a time where you just throw hate out there and they could just shut you down because with no proof. It's just the word.
help me God, was a disgrace. The fact that a laptop was discovered in the weeks before the election, that emails were revealed, and that social media platforms, including Twitter, actually suppressed access to a New York Post story is deeply offensive to me. And Twitter wasn't the only one, but the fact that they're going to come out with this information, I have to believe some of the people walking around in the West Ring, it's one of the reasons why they're keeping a close eye.
That's right. And sir, what role then do you see the government playing in this, if any at all?
Well, I think it's important that we recognize, even in a free society, you're not free to yell fire in a crowded theater, right? And so there are basic elements, basic requirements of maintaining.
I'm gonna rewind this what he said He said you're not allowed to scream fire in a crowded theater. On this real quick.
Recognize, even in a free society, you're not free to yell fire in a crowded theater, right? And so there are basic elements, basic requirements of maintaining the debate. And Twitter is about.
And I think, and here what Pence is saying is that there's certain things, you know, of course we're free to say certain things, but there is a line. And like I said earlier in the beginning of this video, that no one should be free to promote hate or the genocide of a people or promote bigotry or things like that, or to slander someone, defamation, that you're lying on someone. No one should be that it's a line drawn. That is not freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? That is what you call, you know, a way to propagate agenda that you may want to benefit you or something like that. So here, that's what Pence is pretty much saying here. It's the line, and we understand that, and I think that intelligent people agree and they understand that line as far as what comes out your mouth. But as far as Twitter releasing files and that the American people need to know in the world, that has nothing to do with, you know, hate or misinformation or anything. So they need to stop it.
That they've reaffirmed their commitment to that. I have great confidence in that, but we ought to always err on the side of freedom and freedom of speech. I mean, for heaven's sakes, right now we're on the cusp of a heroic person named Jimmy Lai facing a trial in Hong Kong for standing for freedom of speech and freedom of the press. We ought to be sending a deafening message of support for that godly man in the stand that he's taken. And we ought to be pushing back on any rhetoric in the public debate here that.
So here Pence was talking about this guy in Hong Kong who's locked up right now for I'm not sure what he did, but he stood up for something and then he said something maybe that the government didn't want him to say. Maybe he exposed him and they locked him up. I'm not sure if Hong Kong is a dictatorship, which it probably is. And it seems like if it is, that's where the U.S. is going. I mean, it seems like the USA is going towards a dictatorship position. You know, within the next 50 years, I think we'll be there, guys, because we headed to a very, 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 very bad place. And if we don't turn this thing around, we headed to a bad place. So it's the only way we could change it is to get the right people in office. And I'm not even a fan of that because I know the politics it's problems in politics. You know, I think power and authority should be given to those who least want it. You know, and I think that's when true change comes.
That would send any message other than we believe in freedom of speech and the freedom of the press.
That's right. And Martha, the vice president, brings up Hong Kong, a territory of China. Critics argue that no more entity has been no furtherance of their censorship, a cog in the wheel, or even that actual proxy than Apple itself. And in that showcase showdown between Apple and Twitter, Elon Musk and Mr. Cook, to the tune of $40 million worth of ad revenue per year, where do you see that going?
Well, I think it's fascinating when you see what's happening right now in China and you see people standing up for freedom. And I just want to say about Elon Musk, and I think, Mr. Vice President, first of all, it's great to have you with us today. And thank you for your service to this country over all of the years that you have served. And, you know, but Elon Musk is such a fascinating character in the history of this country. You know, you look at what he's done with rockets to space, with electric vehicles. He's always pushing the envelope, and he likes failure. He likes it when things don't work because he talks about what you learn when you fail over and over again. If you've watched, there's a great documentary about SpaceX, which, you know, just really shows how dedicated he is. So I don't think he's going away from this fight anytime soon. And I think you're right. I think it strikes fear in the...
Real quick, I just want to talk about something significant that she said that Elon Musk likes. The reason why Elon Musk is so successful and she just said something. Elon Musk likes failure. Let me tell you something, guys. There's no such thing as failure. Failure is a man-made concept. It only exists in your own mind. Elon Musk understands that failure is success. It's the law of polarity. Failure is just on the other side of the continuum of success. Like failure teaches you to go this way, not that way. So in order to succeed, you must fail. Like, so I mean, we use the word fail, but that word really doesn't exist. You know, failure only becomes real the moment you give up. But if you continue to push, you will succeed. Failure is not a block. Failure is actually a stepping stone. It all depends on how you look at it. And for Elon Musk to recognize that, and that's why he's so successful. That's why he's a visionary. And I understand that. Napoleon Hill talked about all these great authors and religious teachers, biblical it lets you know that failure is the key to success. So that Elon Musk understands that maybe better than most. That's why he loves failure, because like he said, it teaches you. It's going to teach you what works, and it's going to cause you to go on deep meditation and think on how to succeed. So anyone out there who's out there want to accomplish anything in your life, don't think that failure is the end all. It's not. It's a stepping stone, guys. It doesn't exist. It only exists in your own mind. Failure is like I said, is the opposite end on the continuum of success. It's the law of polarity: up, down, right, left, light, dark. Remember that, guys. Let's continue.
Parts of a lot of people in Washington and in some of the media that he's going to allow light to be shown into this. And as far as the White House saying that they're keeping an eye on Twitter, this is a private company. I mean, sort of substitute other media organizations for the word Twitter in that conversation. We're keeping an eye on you, newspapers. We're keeping an eye on you, right. Media organizations. And think about what kind of rightful chill that sends down people's spines in this country. So that's something we need to be very, very cautious of. But I do think that he's going to keep pressing, and I think it's good for the process. And, we had a lot of disinformation coming across Twitter when it came to COVID, when it comes to gender surgery, all of these things.
Now, she said something that was significant here. Before Elon Musk bought Twitter, and let's go back to the COVID-19. And I totally agree with her. All the misinformation about COVID that was spreading on Twitter. Did the Democratic Party, or did the Biden administration? And I'm not leaning towards the Republican Party, because I'm not a Republican or I'm not a Democrat. I just want to make that clear. I'm just saying, Fauci, none of them said anything. All that misinformation, like you said on Twitter, it wasn't a hassle. It was no debate. It wasn't no hate, this and that. It was, it's get your shot, get the vaccination. Now, 2 years later, we realized that the people were right. So this is what I'm saying. Is it a double standard here? Like, these are the games that these people play.
And there is a check on Twitter. It's called the comments. Right?
Right, exactly.
When you post something, people weigh in and they say, no, that's not true. No, you're lying. That's not factual. That's the forum. That's the town hall.
I totally agree with her. I mean, it's not like if you post them on Twitter, it gives you the ability for other people to respond back to what you're saying. That's what Twitter is all about, for people to post their opinions, and people can respond whether they agree or not. It's a friendly debate going back and forth. Sometimes it's friendly, sometimes it's not. But it allows everyone to have their free speech. That's what Twitter and other platforms are all about. Not to try to muzzle other people from speaking. That's not what it's about. So I definitely agree with what she's talking about. She's absolutely right.
That it's supposed to be. So I think the White House can just relax and allow that process to play out. And let's see what Elon Musk wants to be able to unleash in terms of this forum.
Right. That's such a great point, Ainsley, that the public square regulates itself. We're not China, where the government has to make sure that they're censoring and involved in every piece of conversation. So the free speech, the beauty of it is that your fellow Americans get to weigh in on your comments.
Yeah, and that's why Elon said he bought it. He wants that free forum, that public forum, the town square, when everyone can weigh in. And he's not a Republican. He did endorse DeSantis and wants him to run for president, but he also said he voted for Joe Biden. So, and in the past, he's voted for all Democrats until recently. So he bought this because he loves our country and he loves that we have free speech. And we're sitting on this sofa with the Vice President of the United States of America. Think about that. all of our backgrounds, where we came from. I'm from South Carolina, a little town, and I would go to Washington, D.C. and stand in front of the White House and take pictures with my family. And then the next thing you know, we have the opportunity to go in the Oval Office and interview the president and interview the vice president. And that is not lost on all of us. We have a great country, and this is a slippery slope. If we continue to not allow free speech, and we're seeing that happening little by little in our country, then we could end up like a China. We could end up like an Iran, where you don't have, you can't freely protest, or you get killed because you don't have your scarf on the right way. I mean, we're seeing this in other countries, so it's just scary. I don't know why everyone's so upset with Elon Musk and why they want him to not buy Twitter, and they're scared of what he's going to do. He just wants free speech. This is not a revolution.
Right.
Well, I got to Martha's point, if I may. I got to know Elon Musk well when I led the National Space Council.
Yes.
And we worked very closely with SpaceX. And I was very heartened when he got out his checkbook, $44 billion, and bought Twitter, because frankly, my impression of Twitter always was, although I served in the White House with somebody that used Twitter a fair amount.
We remember.
Every day. Look, we access the American people very regularly.
Pence is making a joke. He's talking about former President-elect Trump, who used Twitter. Twitter was his go-to. And he said he was very, he was heartened that Elon Musk bought Twitter. I think a lot of people were happy that Elon bought Twitter. And I think it was a power move. I think a lot of people know what Elon Musk stands for, and they know a lot of people knew he was going to allow Kanye West back. A lot of people knew he was going to allow Donald Trump back, and as well as others, because Elon is for free speech. Because Elon understands that these guys aren't promoting hate. These guys aren't promoting division. They're promoting their opinion, and they're exposing people who don't want to get exposed. So I agree with Pence. I was glad when Elon bought Twitter, and I hope that it succeeds. Hope he gets a lot of subscribers, and I hope that the stock price goes up.
But I always had a sense, and I worry about the suppression of conservative voices, the suppression of conservative views in social media, including on Twitter, not just the Hunter Biden story.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, Ainsley. I really do believe in what you said, Martha. I think Elon Musk's politics are different than mine. I mean, I know him well enough to know his politics are different than mine on many issues. But he has a bias for freedom, a bias for American innovation. I know he's going to bring that to Twitter.
Those are great biases to have. And Ainsley, I do think you bring up a great point about the slippery slope, and that's why this conversation really matters. The first red flag that I got was last year when Karine Jean-Pierre said that the Biden administration is working with social media companies to limit COVID-19 misinformation. So that is the government saying what is good and bad speech and talking directly to a social media company about it, which sounds an awful lot like a First Amendment violation. Then there was the Disinformation Governance Board that we thought was disbanded. Then because of the Intercept's fine reporting, we found out that DHS still plans to go after COVID misinformation, racial injustice, and information on the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Really? So you think about what the DHS was created after 9/11 to protect Americans from terrorists. How did it become an organization that is protecting Americans or trying to censor some sort of speech? That is a really big slippery slope. So all of this certainly matters, and it is going to be a very interesting fight. Elon Musk is a very unique guy, but he has a lot of powers against him, including apparently the government and Apple as well.
I can't wait to see what he reveals.
That's
I'm
right.
excited. Hopefully that'll come out soon.
Yes, that's right. Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno.
All right, guys, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe, hit that like button. Peace out.